guys, what's up? Alright. It's Denny back here with kind of an unusual build here. I took my Cen 7.7 and I converted it to electric. And I extended the chassis too, so. And I did add, yes, 5th scale disc brakes to it, which work extremely well. There's a little master cylinder. You can see where I extended the chassis. All I did was I actually got online and bought another chassis for like $1 plus shipping from Dollar Hobbies. And right where this little bracket here goes, here, I just cut it off. And the amazing thing about this stuff is like the bolt holes can line up. You can drill a couple if you want. I don't like drilling holes that aren't necessary in case I want to bring them back to stock again. And the thing is, I'm running, I don't know if you can see that, it's a 2260 kV motor, 14.4 volts, and basically this is out of a Red Cat Terramonto or something like that I bought, running dual fans and everything. So, and then I mounted the factory mounting bracket and the servo, because this kit that I bought came with a 1/4 scale servo to run the brakes. So I just like plugged them in off my receiver, and a little Y connector comes with it. Very simple. And I found a couple of bolt holes that did line up on this chassis, but then I re-drilled some so on this bracket so I could fit it to it. And then you can see I kind of like cut the vein out of it. Just probably a bad idea to do that because I had the servo horn down at first, so I wanted to give it room. Then I brought it upward. But it's extremely cool. This brake kit, I bought another one too, actually came from Reuven RC. Okay, and I mean, cool stuff. Let's unbag it, because I've not even opened this one yet. Like, first one I bought was, let me set the camera down, and we'll open it up. You can see what's in the bag. Sorry for the delay, guys. I know. Now, everything you need comes in the kit, except for one thing. 2 things, actually. 3 things. Here's your servo. 1/4 scale servo, ginormous. It's huge. And this is your bottle. And what I did was I put just regular hydraulic fluid in it, because nobody tells you what to use. So, and here are all your cool stuff. These are your parts, your calipers, all your lines, everything you need, except 3 things, are in the bag. Now, you have to admit, that is cool. That is wicked cool. I actually bought the plastic hubs for the King motors. That's what this is for, the King motor, 5th scale. And it's got a little thing in the back here. You just take this off and put your hose over it and tighten it up. Very simple. Lead it. These are your rotors. Now, I'm going to give you a size comparison on the rotors, because I did not know how big these were. Okay, they're a pretty good sized rotor, alright, and they do fit behind the Cen factory rims, which is nice. And so these things are 24mm hex in here. So what I did was I bought the 1-inch wheel extenders with the 24mm hex. Okay, now the Cen tire is only 23mm. So what I did was I ground down 1mm on each side here. You can file it, grind it, or whatever. And then the hole in the center, that was a tricky part. I had to really do some thinking on this. So here's what I did. I grabbed a piece of 1/4-inch brake line, okay, and I cut it off. And then what I did was I ground these down, because the 1/4-inch brake line, the ferrule on the end that bolts in, will actually fit the axle shaft for the Cen. Then all you have to do is slide it over the axle, drill a hole in it for your pin. You can still use your original set screws, which I did. I actually updated them with not the Allen heads. I actually put a bigger kind of a bolt style in there, and this here will fit inside here. See that? It just slides right in. It'll fit inside the hub. So simple problem solved. Then what I used was a Fender Shim. What I did was I took the caliper, okay, and then I lined it up with the Fender Shim, and I drilled 2 holes in it. Then I actually took the Fender Shim, as you can see what I did there, I drilled a hole in the Fender Shim on the center of the knuckle, and then I took the bearings out and I stuck in 1 bolt from the back side with a lock nut. So it kind of like moves freely a little bit. It does move a little bit, so it kind of like keeps the rotor free too, because they need to be free. And then I took some, like, it's called like metal bonding compound. It's used in the auto body industry now. It's from 3M, and it's expensive stuff. So, but I just ran some on there, you know, and I filed down the edge of the hub back here, just to give it a little notch for these 2 ends right here to fit right in there. Then I shaved this off about maybe 1/8 of an inch, just so it fit perfect. So when you're going to put this screw in here, what you're going to do is you're going to see where there's a little, like, where the line comes from straight and starts heading down there, right here. You're going to go in between the 2 bearings is where you're going to put your little Allen head through there. I used a 4mm Allen head, and you know, yes, it does, like, you know, it does twist hard when you're stopping this thing. You can see it's twisting, but it works cool. It fits behind the wheels. This is a Cen factory wheel. All I had to do was, in the center here for the 24mm hub, I just took a little Dremel tool and just rounded out the hole a little bit bigger, right in the center, so it would go over the 24mm hub. So, you see what I did? Then, you know, because the back ones, the 1-inch extenders I had to cut it off and then drill it out, because the front hubs actually go into a bearing. This is not like a 4-wheel drive hub. It's only a 2-wheel drive hub, and it's for the King motor, you know, 5th scale car. And so I put a little O-ring in the little groove they got there to kind of like keep the pin in place, you know. And I put like a screw in here, you know what I mean, a bigger one, to hold that in. So, but it actually works extremely well. And if you have a GST-E, you probably won't need it. But if you're like me, you like converting stuff, I mean, this thing is really long. I mean, I've added another half, basically, or a third of the length of this thing from here to there. So we'll do a wheelbase measurement, and it is center to center is 19.5 inches from center to center. So, quick, easy thing. I mean, I ran the tubes inside, down here, down low, you know, so they have room for movement. But if you wanted to, I was not going to do this. I was just going to leave them on top so I could remove the brakes as a system. And what they don't tell you is you have to bleed the brakes. Now, this little syringe comes with it, and this cute little piece of hose over here, the blue hose that goes into the syringe, and it goes into the top of the master cylinder. Okay, so what I did was, you just filled this up with hydraulic fluid, and then on the top of the calipers, there's a tiny little bleeder screw right here, as you can see. You pop that off, you squeeze it till all the air's gone, go the other side. You do that there, you know, and do the other side. I always take the furthest caliper away from the syringe to bleed it. You know, start there first and then work your way to the closest. And it helps if you have like a Tupperware lid or something that, you know, Ma doesn't want or the wife doesn't want. You just throw underneath it and let it drip down. But they're basically leak free. They don't leak after you've bled them, and they will stop. This truck probably does 50 miles an hour easy, and it'll stop it on a dime. It just, like, within 3 feet, this truck comes to an abrupt halt. So, hope you like what I built, and I'll be coming back with another video of me running this thing. And the only problem is with that 2260 kV motor, and I'm running a large, as you can see, I turned these around because they both fit. So I used a smaller one and a bigger gear here, and this thing screws. It is nuts. I mean, when it was a short wheelbase, you've seen some of my other videos, it would only run on its back tires. Like, the thing was like running on its back tires for the majority of when you're running it. But I think it's pretty awesome looking with the 4-wheel disc brakes and extended into a 5th scale. Because I bought a 5th scale online here that a guy had done. He did a really nice job at doing it. I was going to put the disc brakes on this, but I thought, you know what if I do something different and maybe use one of those Liberty Motor, you know, model, like 427 Ford engines, or I'm a Chevy guy. I bought the Vet engine, you know, the tri-power one, a little smaller, and I'll show you a size comparison on that too while we're here. Okay, here's your Liberty tri-power 427. Okay, there's your Liberty Ford 427. You see what I'm saying? It's humongous. I mean, the sizes are huge. This will probably fit, you know, into like an 8 scale with a nice, you know, look and everything. This one here is going to be like overkill. So my next build, I'm going to do one of these here because I got a Ford truck and I got a Chevy. I'm a diehard Chevy guy, and I love the Bruisers. But like I say, however, there's a warning on the 2260 kV motor here. Okay, when I was running this, I stuffed it into a curb. All right, this tire, as you can see, I glued a chunk back in it just for shits and giggles to see how it would withstand it. This thing was the size of a pizza and exploded like out on the street. It took me 3 days to find a piece of tire, and so this one's seen the weenie. But like I say, you know, if you're into building Frankensteins and, you know, you want to have some fun, I mean, I love to build them, test them, destroy them, and, you know, it's all for the hobby, guys. I mean, there's so much stuff out there. And I did want to mention, I bought this brake kit, okay, right here, on eBay. Alright, it came from Rovan RC, and it was $179 or something like that. And it's good stuff, I'm telling you. You know, if you got a little bit of creativity, you can make mounts. You know, you can make adapters, and you can buy the 1-inch extenders. That's important, and you can go from there. Because my next thing I want to do is to do a really scale build on the on the Cen, because nobody's done it yet. I've already done kind of a quickie thing with a nice new bright Ford body and everything. And if you see this wheelie bar here, that's very important. It's got to be there when you have a short wheelbase. So, but I'm not going to bore you guys. And got any questions, comments, subscribe to the page, because I've got a lot more things that I'm going to do. I bought probably 4 incomplete Cens part by part on eBay, and they're just an awesome truck. It's like every now and then, a manufacturer, they come out with something that's kind of catchy. I know everybody likes the HPI Savages and all that, and now they got the Savage Octane, and it's just pretty cool. I haven't dabbled into that yet. I'd like to, and I'd like to give you guys a review on basically everything that I've done, because that's how we learn in this hobby. I mean, when you read stuff online, everything's in millimeters, and and you're only going by basically a quick advertisement that somebody's trying to sell you something. Well, this here, I build them and I destroy them. So it is what it is. And like I say, if you like it, hit like, hit me up. Got any questions, hit me up on the page there. And because this is all going towards YouTube, man. This has kind of been my experimental out. And like I say, I'll go over everything one more time real quick. And we got the brackets I made with the screw in between the bearings. Very simple. We got the 1-inch extender King motor, 24 millimeter hubs, ground down, 1 millimeter on each notch to fit the Cen wheels. You could actually run 5th scale tires if you wanted to here, because they have 24 millimeter. I took the existing bracket, and don't do that. If you're going to run the bracket here, I didn't know where I was going to put it at, but just sit there and move the bracket back and forth until you find your holes, and then mount this bracket up here, mount it right through with a couple of lock nuts. It does flex a lot. There is a lot of stress on this thing. I've already broken one of these when I flipped it over, so you have to be careful of that. And your master cylinder, and then your syringe, you can bleed it. When you bled it, you can actually take this off and just like put a nut on there with a rubber O-ring. So I'm still in the middle of bleeding everything. These brackets all come with it, and I use an existing hole in the frame to run out a long screw that came in the kit just to hold it down. And basically, that's what it is, guys. You know what I mean? You just run your hoses wherever they're comfortable with, away from the batteries or your fuel tank, and bring them in. So, like I say, it's pretty cool. So, I'll catch you later. Have a good one.